Who do you play?
Oh no.
King Lane.
So is most of that time just putting the armour on, is there?
Pretty much.
Yeah, how is that too?
They're incredible. Those suits are, I mean, you're asking me at a good time. Ask me when I've been wearing it for 7 hours. Then I'll sort of be in a
Are they really
rage.
40 pounds?
They're pretty heavy, yeah. But they have to be that way. They look so brilliant, and on camera they look incredible, and it's so part of the world and the game.
We noticed the boots are huge, but are
Mine
they
are
tiny
even more
inside?
ridiculous.
Like,
Have you seen it? Did you go and look
Oh,
at the
yeah.
video?
Yeah, we saw it.
They have the most stupid. They sort of come all the way up to a kneecap. Oh, yeah. It was quite an interesting process getting it right. A lot of trial and error and testing the costumes out. And they were so precise at making it right. You do have to do a lot of movement and fighting. So, but there's a company, after they've been designed, they then go off to the company in New Zealand who in fact, I just wore one of their pieces of armour from the last job I just did, and it's amazing. I mean, comparatively, if it was the actual armour, it would be hell. I don't know how anyone ever wore armour. But it's great because it makes you feel so much part of it, and you feel the size of it and the scale of the sets and everything. You slowly piece together. Slowly work out what this thing is and how it's going to look, and you slowly become part of it, which at first you're sort of a bit, I suppose, terrified of, because you don't know how you're going to fit into it. And then again you go through the process with the costumes, and then the process with the hair and makeup, and you think something's not quite right, and then something starts fitting together and working. Very interesting.
I was going to say, you were quoted quite early on in the process as saying you felt a lot of pressure on this specific movie, but is that something that has gone away now you've actually filmed the majority of your scenes and stuff?
Well, I think it goes away at the beginning. You do when you're settling into the character, I suppose, and working out how you want to play it and how the director perceives it. And yeah, it's always at the beginning you're finding your way with it and the scale of it. And I suppose I made those comments when I was confronted with how the success of the game already, and how much it means to how much people invest in the game and the world and the time that they've spent in that world with those characters, and they have very clear ideas of who those people are. So, but that you can't. You just it's the same as if you're playing, I suppose, a real life character who's existed in a biopic. Once you take the responsibility on, you're doing it, and you can only do what your interpretation is, and beyond that, there's nothing. Otherwise, and you have to be free with it. You have to enjoy it, and you have to have fun in the process of doing it. So that you have to get rid of those fears. You have moments of realising how many people are playing this game at any one time, and you are going to be excited about this film.
Yeah. Is that part of what drew you to the project, or were you really drawn to the story?
Totally the story on this, actually. It was an incredible script. It was like nothing I've read before, and it took a while. You had to read it a few times, especially if you weren't someone who was clued up on the nature of the game and the world and the characters. So, but it stood alone as a story. And an incredible one, in my opinion. And then you get the opportunity to speak with someone like Duncan, who you have absolute faith in to make this as good as it could possibly be. But it very much stood alone. No, it was not on the merits of the game at all that I took it on. I mean, of course, it's wonderful to be part of something that already has a fan base. That's something that's always, you're terrified of whether anyone's going to ever like what you're making. So knowing that there will already be an audience who are anticipating this is always a good thing.
And did you have any experience already working with digital, performance capture? Like you're interacting with actors that are wearing just motion capture shoots in the middle of these lush sets. Does that kind of get in the way of getting into character because you're talking to this guy in just a grey suit?
You get over that quite quickly once you have an idea of what it's going to look like. And we saw, I don't know whether you guys should be shown, but there's a wonderful test of what the orcs will end up looking like. And then when you have an idea of the scale of them and how powerful they are, and it's actually, for me, I've done the only things in my experience have been where I played opposite myself, which was against a tennis ball, which is much harder. And actually, just to have someone's eyes there, that's what you're really interacting with. And of course, it'd be wonderful if it was completely. And of course, an environment always helps, and a set always helps to immerse yourself in it. But what you need more than anything is interaction and contact and response, and that's all it. That's there, and so you're dealing with brilliant actors who are just looking ridiculous with kind of lights over their bodies and pajamas. But once you get over that, then you're having a conversation again. So it's not. It's my first time. It's the first time I've dealt with green screen in such a way. But I've been quite fortunate in that a lot of the sets that I was on, being from the human world, have been built and are completely magical.
Did you just talk with, because obviously you were in the Howard Stark and all that sort of stuff, did you talk to any of the other fellow Marvel actors about green screen stuff, like who would have done more, because most of your scenes were on sets, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I know what it entails, so I wasn't in any way... As long as you've done the work on knowing where you are, because sometimes you can misjudge that, and you've got to understand what the landscape is. And Duncan was very open at explaining what and where we are, because you are in a blue box ultimately. I've got a horse poo on the floor. My favourite environment to work in. Understand where you are, what it will look like, and again with the motion, with the guys in the suits, they're going to be there. You have to understand the scale of them, and then have it in your, when you're on stage, you're creating a world beyond what you're standing in front of an audience, but you have to imagine that you are in that. And that's really important, and that is seen in your eyes.
So it's like a black box theatre, but it's green instead of black.
Pretty much, yeah. And there aren't loads of scary people there. We're about to write horrible things.
I was going to say, like, would you sort of see this as something quite new for you in terms of as an actor kind of thing? Like, do you think it's something you would like to do more of, or do you?
This kind of work?
Yeah, like the biggest special effects.
It's very, very different, and you have to keep reminding yourself of how special it is when you go and watch a movie like this. But they're much. It's a very different discipline to work in. I get very excited by under pressure and quick pace and making spontaneous decisions, and this is much more drawn out, much more specific. There's much more time, and there's many more different cogs to the piece of machinery that need to be working because of the technology behind it. It's a different discipline. You have to be, and you have to stay extraordinarily focused. But the outcome is always very, very exciting, and this is the way in which a lot of movies are going. It's going to be around. This is how we're going to be working more and more, and I think you just have to take it as another type of work. There's doing a crazy independent madness film where you're exhausted and you kind of haven't got time to think. There's doing a play, and there's this kind of So I've loved it. I've learnt a lot from it, and I'm excited. And because the worlds are so expansive, they get bigger and bigger, and the imagination is more and more, and I think that's really exciting. And seeing this technology, seeing how these characters move now, and with the realism of the eyes, they're really, really wonderful. I'm terrible. Hopefully, they're going to continue to use humans. I'm hoping.
I was going to say, like,
2 more questions, please, and then we'll have to wrap it up.
Okay. Like, if you're doing like big battle scenes and that sort of thing, do you get kind of hyped up before it? Are you quite method about that sort of stuff, or would you prefer just to like turn it on when the cameras come on? Like,
well, it's a long process. So you're doing a shoot like that for you can't just be hyped up, you just keel over and die. But and again, that's the nature of this is very much, and the discipline of it is focus immediately. Get after maybe waiting for hours and hours because of what they need to set up and technically create. You then have to just switch on and be in the moment, and that's and it's different for different scenes. Some scenes you might need to stay much more in your own space and more focused, and in that space for a longer period of time. Other scenes you have to just click into it. And Duncan's been wonderful in that he's always given time and given you choice on whether you feel you've got there and you've achieved what you want to achieve. So you're always allowed and given another go.
I'm sorry. How have your fans and fans of the game reacted to you being part of the movie? I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of it on social media.
I've no idea.
No, you stay away from that?
Yeah, I've no idea. I really have no
Well, I
idea.
did a video and I announced you
positive.
being in
Is
it.
it? Oh, good.
People were very excited that you were going to be in it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, I haven't looked at any of that. That's far too frightening.
Quick one. You had mentioned how much you like the script. What do you like most about your character? What makes him appealing and
Oh,
interesting to
it's
you as
very,
an actor?
very different for me to play someone who is a hero. He's a very a hero and a good and a nice man. I'm normally so repulsive in most of the things. So it's been very odd playing someone who just ultimately wants what's best for his people and his family, and he's a real true hero in every sense of the word in what he does. And I won't give away what he does towards the end of the film. He's a really good man. He's a leader. He's a fantastic person, and he's in a very complex, difficult decision-making process. You see him at a time when he's very conflicted with what he knows, and it's a very dangerous, volatile time that he suddenly finds himself in, and that he really, truly wants to do what's best. And normally, I'm playing people who only want to do what's best for themselves, and this is so. It's and the script. Looks into a lot, even though it's this fantastical, wonderful imaginative world that we're living in. For me, many aspects of it in the world that we're living in today that I relate to, in terms of the land that's being taken over and taken because one person thinks it's another person. There are lots of different interpretations, and you can very much relate it to the world that we're living in at the moment and the terrible things that are going on. So. There was a very human aspect to a film that has orcs and trolls, which I really liked.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thanks so
Very
much.
Thank
much.
you.
Guys, have a cool day. You around for it? Are you going to stick around?
Yeah, we're going to see the filming. Good.
Thank you.